Welcome everyone, Kaifun's Cove. I of course am the god who tried to kill the metal, but failed. You may call me Kaifun, and today I bring you another retrospective, this time of a video game, Doom Eternal. However, I've decided to do things a little different than the last few times, and I'm shooting for this video to be quick and concise. Now with that, brace yourself, and refuel your chainsaw, as you weather my retrospective of Doom Eternal. Our story picks up following the events of the first game, 2016's Doom, as we find ourselves in the shoes of the Slayer once more. However, this time, it seems that we're missing something. That thing, unfortunately, is an explanation of everything and everyone we're interacting with. 2016's Doom made such an impression by making the lack of perspective the Slayer had fundamental to the game. Not only conveying so much in so little, but also helping to keep the flow of the game up, the pacing accelerated to match. In Eternal, the pacing feels way off. Not only are there many more cutscenes, but also much more talking, especially about shit we have no idea about because we were never shown what it was. Now, though, instead of showing us, they've elected to tell us. But none of it makes any sense unless you bring yourself to read the pages upon pages of lore the game thrust upon you like confetti at a kid's party. While I'm glad it's in the game, it's unfortunate for a game that wants to be as fast-paced as possible to match its gameplay, that it requires an RPG's wealth of knowledge to wade through in order to understand anything. It just feels like a step backward. Like in 2016's Doom, they decided that they were gonna prove John Carmack wrong when he said that story in a game isn't important. How? By making us realize that while the story was there and was important, it just simply didn't matter to who we were. A fundamental thing that I think makes lore around the Doom guy himself all the better. Eternal, however, seems to double down on the story isn't important. Why? Because it just lets loose with a bunch of shit that could be interesting, and honestly should interest the Slayer himself, but doesn't ever come up in the process of playing the game. Instead, they replaced all the wit surrounding how they had the Slayer navigate the story on 2016's Doom, with more cutscenes and saying more shit about more shit that we don't know about. All leading us to honestly kind of a letdown of an ending. Not that it was bad, but more so that it left me wanting more, not from the franchise, but from it. By the time you finish Doom Eternal, you haven't gotten any resolution to what was left for us at the end of 2016's Doom. And while things get teased in this game that make it clear there will be a sequel, at the end when it's finished, you aren't left excited to finish the fight, so to speak. You're left feeling, well, I just did something. Then in the next game, I'll probably have to do something else. Again. While I'm excited for more Doom, I just feel like we know that we're not going to get any resolution from anything left at the end of this game. At least, not one that isn't told to us or read in a codex. Here's a quick paraphrasing of what happens. Doom Guy goes through a portal, rips apart everything that challenges him. Doom Guy goes through a portal, and that's the entire length of the game. And again, while I loved playing it, and it was a lot of fun, there isn't much more to it than that. You kill some people, kill some more people, and when the stupid fools unleash the apocalypse to stop you, well, you just kill the apocalypse too. Not to say the story has nothing of value in it, it's just a shame that it's so hard to see the value when it's never given a chance to shine. I will admit, while the game is very confusing and required a lot of digging into the lore to understand what the hell happened, the game is still very fun. Killing demons as you dash, jump, vault, and swing to and fro all over the maps in the game is a blast. In some ways, it's even better than 2016 Doom, in that it seems to give us more variety in not only the gameplay, but also the locations as well. The newly added features and weapons like the flame belch and ice bombs and grenades, coupled with the beautiful, infinite, seemingly blood-fueled chainsaw that forces enemy to drop ammo, makes this game feel like a smooth upgrade from the previous. On top of that, it's beautiful in its own right. Sure, maybe blood and guts isn't everyone's cup of tea, but you have to admit they do look good. The game even introduces a badass new enemy in the form of the Marauder, which cranks things up to 11, and they can easily overcome most of your weapons with their shield. Add to the fact that they're fast as hell and hit like a ton of bricks, and you have a recipe for challenge. Challenge, bringing me to my overall point of this retrospective. Doom, for as fun as it is to play, can be really frustrating, but that frustration is tempered by a really great system. On top of being able to lower the difficulty without really losing any challenge, you're given access to extra lives that put you right back into the fight. No waiting. It's these things that I love because it helps you play the game longer. In games like Dark Souls, difficulty is set, and to get good, You must play and inevitably die and repeat this process until you learn to play the game right. In Doom Eternal, you are free to play and fail over and over again at any difficulty without being punished by having to restart or wait around, having to constantly analyze what tactics you've already used. Instead, you're free to experiment, leading not only to a more enjoyable experience, but also one I feel begs the player to try it again, only harder, every time they beat it. I can't imagine what it would have been like if Halo had only had one difficulty. And for a long time for me, it did, as my friends always wanted to play on the hardest one to prove how hard they were. Doom Eternal's greatest feat to me will be showing people the difference between challenge and difficulty. Challenge is not being able to rely on only one weapon the whole time. Challenge is having an enemy that truly pushes you to your limit without breaking your enjoyment. Difficulty is telling people to read through dozens of pages of text in order to understand or have some grasp on what the hell is happening. Difficulty is having to stop every 2 minutes to be shown where to go, and then 10 minutes later, begging for a cutscene to show you the way. Doom is a lot of fun, and if you're into blood and guts and explosions propelled at you at supersonic speeds, all set to an endless grind of chainsaw metal, then it's for you, and I highly recommend it. I honestly can't wait to see what they bring us in the sequel. Here's hoping for a wider variety of metal with which to kill by, but other than that, there's really only two things needed to make the next game an even bigger success than this one. More of this, and less of this.
Transmission removed in a moment.
Despite the loss of the priests, Earth will fall.
Most corrupted location on the...
Thank you everyone for joining me on this journey, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, or if you didn't, please feel free to comment down below about what you feel I'm doing right, and what you think I could improve. Also, please feel free to share and subscribe for more content like this. If you hit the little bell, you'll be notified when I drop my The Last of Us Part 2 Retro-Speculative, which is coming next, as well as any future content. It is greatly appreciated. With that, I hope you all have a great day, or night, or really whenever. Later, and lots of love.